Okay. So today we are starting from the Java packages. What is that packages? Java packages and API. A package in Java is used to group related classes. Think of it as a folder in a file directory. We use package to avoid name conflicts and to write a better maintainable code. Package are divided into two categories. Basically, what is a package? Basically, package is like a container, or you can say in your computer that is a different folder. Suppose you have a main folder that is the movie folder. In between that movie folder, you have participate the Bollywood movies and the Hollywood movies and the animation movies. So you have put it the different file in the different packages. So whenever you want to see the Bollywood movies, you can directly go to the Bollywood movie folder. Whenever you want to see the Hollywood movie, you can directly go to the Hollywood movie folder because that's so that can that make that became easy a little bit. So basically the package is like that it is on a folder in your file directory and use package to avoid name conflicts to write a better maintainable code. And in the package, that package, there are two kind of packages. One is the built-in package, another one is the user defined package. That means built-in package means Java itself created some packages, and basically that in the Java, what is that packages is in that package. That means whenever we want to create create any class, first of all we need to create the package first. Under the package we are creating the class, right? Under the class we are creating the methods, variables, attributes and all. Basically the same thing packages is. That package is a container. In between that container there are lots of inbuilt classes, there are lots of inbuilt methods are there. This basically different package in that. And now in the Java there are two kind of packages. One is the built-in package, another one is the user defined package. Built-in package means Java itself created some package, and that package have been created by Java, and into that package there are lots of built-in classes also there, built-in methods also there. And the user defined package, sometime as per our requirement we need to create up some packages for ourselves we need to create some packages. That is basically the user defined package. So now coming to the built-in package, the Java API is a library of pre-written classes that are free to use, included in the Java development environment. In the Java development environment there are some pre-written classes. Those are free to use, and those classes have been created in us when that those classes is under some separate packages, some separate package. A library contains components for managing input database programming, much more, and the complete that you can go to that website, that Oracle website, for seeing the package. The library is delivered into packages and classes, meaning you can either import a single class or a whole package that contain all the class that belong to the specified packages. Basically, in the we are in the built-in package. That means that package have been created by Java. That Java have been created a package that is basically the built-in package. So we haven't created that package. Java created that package. And in between that package, there are lots of classes. There are lots of methods are there. Basically, lots of classes means that classes having some different use. Suppose I'm telling you a name, like look at the syntax, import package name class. Like there is some name, like if you want to use any built-in package, like there is a package just it is name is that util package, java.util package. Java.util is a name of a package that is a built-in package. That package is created by Java. Into that java.util package there are lots of classes like scanner class, array list class. There are lots of classes into that particular java.util package. And basically those built-in package, if you want to use, first of all you need to import the package. First of all you need to import the package, and from the package, after importing the package, you can either, there are two options, either you can import the whole package or you can import any particular specific package as per your use. Suppose into the java.util package there is a class, that class name is a scanner class. And what is that scanner class? We are coming into that we are coming into that for the timing. In the java.util package there is a class scanner class. Our need to use the scanner class. So basically in that scenario we can only import the scanner class from the particular package, from the package, or you can import the whole package. That means if you are importing the whole package, that means whatever the package, whatever the methods is available into that package, you are importing the whole thing. But if you are importing any particular any class, that time you are importing that particular one. As per your need, you can do anything, either the whole package or the any particular class. Now, what is the syntax of importing the package? Basically, you need to, we are doing the import. We are doing the import. We are importing the package. So that import keyword should be there. That syntax, basically, this is the syntax. This is the syntax. So we are importing. So we are using that import keyword, then dot, then package name. Basically, whatever the package name you want to, whatever the package you want to import, you need to write the name of the package and then dot class. That means this one is for importing a single class. That means import keyword, then the package name, and whatever the particular class you want to import, the name of the class you need to write here. And if you want to import the whole package, that means import, then the package name, then start. So basically, two way we can import. Either you can import a single class or you can import the whole package. So basically, this is the syntax. Now, coming to the import for input. Basically, you get a variable, and whatever the value, that value get it as an output from the users. We have declared the variable, we have declared the data type, we have declared the variable, and then we are giving the value. But if you want that user can give the output, sometimes it's necessary that you need to take the input, take the output or the input from the user in that time. So user can give you the input. For taking the input from the user, there is a class, that class name is a scanner class. Using the scanner class, you can take the input from the user, and that input, that scanner class, where is that class? That scanner class is available in the java.util package. So basically, import a class. If you find a class you want to use user input, write the example. First of all, this is the necessary thing, that that scanner class we want to use, because we want to take the user input from the users. That scanner class is available, I can find. So we need to import the java. First of all, we need to import the package, then we need to import the class from the package. And how we can do that? Basically, let's write that import keyword. The package name is java.util package dot the class you want to import, that is the scanner class. So scanner is the class name. In the example above java.util is a package, while scanner is a class of the java.util package. Okay, java.util package. We have import dot scanner. Okay, that package is the different package, that class is a different class, scanner is the class. Now we are declaring a class my class. We are declaring a class, that class name is the my class. Under the class body, we are declaring the main method, that is the public static void main string args. Now to that main class, my class is created by Java. Those two classes are different class. That time that you want to use the scanner class into your my class. So basically, how can I use that? By creating the object. So we are basically creating the object a little bit different. Scanner, the class name, my obj is the object name, equals to new keyword part in the place of the parameter. You need to write the system.in. Now you will ask that why that system.in? Basically, how user will give you the output using their system. So basically, that's why that system.in. Basically, how user will give you the output using the system. So system.in as a parameter. class is completed because I want package. And not only that, this scanner class is a different class that we want to use in our class. That's why by creating the object, we can access that scanner class. Now, scanner class object creation is done. And we all know system.out.println, whenever I will write in the program, whenever I will write the system.out.println using the system.out.println, basically, after creating the object, I am just writing a message using the SOP. And just why I am writing enter username, why I am writing, because we are giving a clue, enter username, enter username. So enter username, that message we are printing now. String username equals to my obj dot next line. Basically, forget up to this. What is that? String username equals to, what is that? This is a normal variable declaration. This is a normal variable declaration that our variable I have declared, the data type is a string type, username is the variable name. But what I am doing, basically, I was just telling you now, in the previous example, in the previous session, whenever we are declaring any variable, we are declaring the values also. But here, we will not declare the value. The user will give you the input. Whatever the user will give you, that will be the value of that particular variable. So we are declaring the variable. After that equals to, we are not declaring the variable. We are not writing any particular value. What we are doing, we are calling the scanner class. How we can call the scanner class? Basically, we all know directly we cannot call any class, but using the object name, through the object name, I can call the class. So same thing I am doing, my obj dot next line. Why that next line? Basically, whenever you are writing that my obj dot next line, look at the data type. The data type is a string. The data type is what? The data type is a string. Just because that is the data type is a string type data, that's why we are using that next line method. We are using the next line method. If it is a integer type, that time it will be next int method. If this is a char method, that time it will be the next char method. The why method? Look at that round braces is there. That's why I'm saying this is a method. We can understand that method is a method. So basically, the value we are not giving. We are giving. We want to give the. We want to take the input, and that input I want to place it to the as a value. Place it as a value. So basically, we are calling the scanner class. Why scanner class? Because using the scanner class only we can take the input from the user. So we cannot call the scanner class directly. That's why we are calling the using the object. So object name we are writing, and then dot a method name we are writing. You need to write, because at the time, and that method name, whatever the what will be the method, just because the data type is string type, that's why that you need to write that next line method. If you are writing integer type data, that time it will be the next int method. If it is a char, next char. If it is a boolean, that time next boolean. If it is a like anything else, the 8 primitive data types, that will be the another. We are coming, the list will be, I will show you the list that what method you need to write in as per the data type. Basically, we are the data type is string type, that's why the next line method. So objective, we are taking the input from the user. Now system.out.println, we all know within the double quote, whatever I will write, that will be printed in your screen as it is. And plus symbol, that is the symbol of concatenation. Why concatenation? That username I have put it into the double quote, means string plus string, that arithmetic calculation is not possible. That means it is a concatenation. So username is whatever the value will user will give you, that will come to the place of the value of that username. And whenever I am calling that username, whatever the value user is giving, that will be printed in your screen. Is that part clear? That scanner class? Is that program clear, or anyone having any issue? Please let me know.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. Everyone clear now? Hello?
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir, why there is system.in?
because system.in, because how user will give you the output using the system, right? Using the system, that means
Okay.
using the
Huh.
computer system and the keyboard and all. So that's why that system.in. So basically, that is the system.in.
So is it mandatory to
Yeah,
give
this
this?
is mandatory. This is mandatory. This basically, this is the syntax that, look, just because this is a scanner class, that is a predefined class, that predefined class by Java, that time this is the syntax of the object creation. We all know nothing you can change. But that system.in, just because this is a predefined class and you are creating the object for the predefined class, and that class for taking the input from the user, that's why this is the mandatory thing. You cannot change anything. Only the object name you can change. Nothing else you can't change.
Okay. Okay, sir.
That scanner case is very important one. Okay, so please try to clear the all the concept. If you are not getting, let me know. I will explain again and again. I have no problem. And if you have practiced, if you have understand that, please practice that code so you can understand it better. Everyone, please practice that code.
Done, sir.
Okay, everyone done? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
মিটিং গুলো এ হচ্ছে মিউট করানো কি সব উল্টো পাল্টা শোনাচ্ছে। ঠিক আছে, এই করো। Import a package. There are many packages to choose from. In the previous example, we have used the scanner class from the java.util package. This package also contains date time facilities, random number generator, and their utility classes. In that particular package, there are like date and time facilities, random numbers, like there are lots of packages and there are lots of methods also. To import a whole package, end of the sentence with an asterisk sign. This sign is called an asterisk sign. The following example will import all the classes in the java.util package. If you want to, if you don't want to import the any particular package, that time you can import the whole package also. User defined package. To create your own package, you need to understand that Java uses file system directly to store them, just like folder and the computer. Like, we are not coming to the Java, yeah, that user defined package, because whenever we are just like we are like we want to do any coding in the Eclipse or the in the NetBeans or the anything else, that time the first of all the first number one necessary is you need to create the package. That package is the basically the same thing, and under the package you are creating a new class, and you are creating different you are creating different file with a different class name. That is basically the same thing. So basically, look at this, that my package, my pack, that you can give any name to your package, package, my pack. Under the package, you are declaring a class, okay, that my package class, public static void main, that system.out println. Basically, the same thing. Now, coming into the Java inheritance, one of the object-oriented programming, like the OOPS concept, one of the object-oriented programming concept is the inheritance. Java inheritance, subclass and superclass. In Java, it is possible to inherit attribute and method. The inheritance concept into two categories, subclass and the superclass. In Java, in the previous session, when we are working with the abstract class, that time also we have explained about that subclass and the superclass. Was again in that was what I was doing, the inheritance. Basically, with the property of the abstract class, we are inheriting to the into the another class. This is basically the inheritance. In Java, it is possible to inherit attributes and methods from one class to another class. We group the inheritance concept into two categories. That is, first one is the subclass, second one is the superclass. What is the subclass? The class that inherits from another class. Superclass, the class being inherited from. To inherit it from a class, we use extend keywords. Remember, when suppose you have two class A and class B. Class A having some attributes, having some methods, and you want to inherit the property of class A into the class B. In that time, using the extend keyword, that time you need to use the extend keyword, then only you can inherit the property of a class to the another class. Using the extend keyword, when you are working, you are inheriting the property of a class to the another class. That time you need to use the extend keyword. Now coming to the example, class vehicle protected string brand equals to 4, public void honk, system.out.println, that message. Okay, basically a class we have declared, and we have declared a protected access modifier using that string variable. We have declared this variable name is brand and the 4 is the value. And another method we have declared, that method is the void method. That means that void method means that particular method does not have any return type. That means that 8 primitive data types that is in Java, we are not that we are not using any particular return type. That means that method can return any type of data, either it is a string data, integer data, character data, boolean data, float data, whatever the type of data that method can return. That means that method does not have any particular return type. If I am mentioning any particular return type like integer type, we are measuring. That means that method, that time that method only can return only integer type data. and into that method, that system out of println, that whenever, that means whenever I will call that particular method name, that will give you an output, that message. And that class does not have the, don't have that particular, like the main method we haven't declared, that public static void main and all. So we are creating another class. The class name is class car, and we are extend using the extend keyword, extends keyword. We are class inheriting the property of the vehicle class, and into that car class. Now the whatever the attribute, whatever the methods are is in the vehicle class, now comes into the car class. Now private string model name, another variable we are declaring, that is a string type data, that is a private type data, private access modifier, string type data, and that variable is the part of the class car only. This is not a part of the vehicle class. This is the, we are declaring the, that means private string model name belongs to the car class car. You can say that that string model name is the class car attribute. Now here in under the class car, we are declaring the main method. After declaring the main method, what we are doing? We are creating the object for the class car. My car is the object name equals to new car constructor. Now what I am doing, my car dot honk. Where is that honk method? That honk method is under the vehicle class. Now just we inherited the property. So using the car class object, because just after inheriting the property to the car class, that car class car is became the new owner of the those attributes and the vehicle and the methods. So using the car class object name, we can easily call that honk method. And system.println my car dot brand. What is that brand? Brand means that variable or the attribute that you have declared into the vehicle class. That brand we are calling variable, we are calling class concatenation. Then within the double quotes, we have given a space, that means that space will be printed. Class is under the class car, that model. So what will be the output? Hello. So what will be the output?
It output is cute, then brand, then brand name, then model name. Model name here is Mustang.
Yeah,
Brand name.
it will be printed in your screen after doing the concatenation, that value of the value of that brand variable plus space, and then the model name is Mustang.
Model name.
Yeah, is it clear, everyone? Hello, is it clear, everyone, that inheritance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now everyone please practice
Yes,
that.
sir.
Do I need to scroll it up, right? Okay, let me know whenever your that part is completed. Please let me know, I will then scroll down. Okay, is that part completed? Should I scroll down? Hello? Hello? Should I scroll down?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, is it done, everyone? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, are you getting any, are you getting any error?
No, sir.
Okay. Can you just tell me that protected, what is the difference between that protected? One variable we have declared under the vehicle class, that is a protected type, and one variable I have declared under the class car, that is a private type. What is the difference between that protected and that private? Because in the previous session, in the time, in the access modifier, we have learned that. What is the difference between the private and the protected? Anyone who can say?
Actually, it's the private access modifier only access this thing in this block, in this class block is car.
And the protected?
What is it?
Basically, the difference between the private and the protected is, if that brand variable we are declaring as private, okay, in the instead of using the protected access modifier, if I am you're writing that private keyword, that time what will be happen? Outside that vehicle class, we are extending the property, we are extending the property of vehicle class, but still we are not able to use that particular brand variable, because whenever you are using private access modifier, that time outside the class you cannot use that particular private variable. And when just be why that protected keyword you are using, that means outside the package you cannot use that vehicle class, that car class, we have created in the same package. That's why that protected variable we can access inside the package in any class. In any class within the same package, in any class we can access that protected access modifier variable. But whenever you are declaring any variable or method as a private outside the class, we cannot access that. Because if you are doing any experiment, if after the session you can do that experiment, that class car is extending that vehicle class. Create another class and give a name to that class, any name you can give. After that, using the extend keyword, extend the car class property. That time what will be happen? It will increase. So suppose if you are creating any another class and into that class you are inheriting the property of the car class, that time from that class is inheriting. That means that new class is became the owner of the property of the car class as well as the vehicle class, as well as the vehicle class. That time what will happen? In that particular class, in the whatever the class you are creating, that new class, if you want to call using the object, if you want to call that model name variable that you have declared as a private, that you are not able to access that because of that particular private access modifier. That means outside the class we cannot access any private access modifier attributes or the methods. Is it clear? Now, when and why to use that inheritance? It is useful for code reusability, reuse attributes and methods of an existing class when you create a new class. Basically, when to use that inheritance? Basically, suppose suppose that vehicle class having some that property, that the attributes and the methods, if you want to use multiple times in the different class, eh, vehicle class attributes that you want to use in the different class, in the different like as per your requirement, as per your need, if you want to use that properties multiple times, instead of using those properties, instead of writing those attributes or writing those declaring those attributes, declaring those methods, instead of declaring multiple times, just you need to extend the class and you are able to access that variable and the method. Basically we can reuse the properties, we can reuse the code. Basically, the final keyword, same thing. The final keyword, what is that final keyword? In the previous session we have learned that. What is that final keyword? Hello, what is that final keyword?
So
If when
if we use final keyword, then we cannot access the class
No,
again.
no.
when you declare any variable as a final, like we cannot reassign any value.
Basically in the previous session, suppose forget about the class, this is the place. In that time we are making any class as final. In the previously we have learned that final keyword in the time of the variable declaration. If I am declaring any variable using the final keyword, in that time what will be happen? In that time what will be happen?
We we can assign new value.
Yeah, exactly. We cannot assign any new value when we are using that final keyword. After that, we are assigning any value. Next, we are not able to overwrite the value of that particular final variable. Like the same scenario, when you are making any class as a final, suppose that final class vehicle having some properties and class car extend vehicle, that time you will get an error. When you are working, you are using the final keyword in the time of the class declaration, that time you cannot inherit the property of that final class. Like in the previous example, we are inheriting the property of the vehicle class into the car class. If if I make that class car cannot extend the property of the vehicle class. Clear? That will generate you an error. Clear? Hello?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
clear, everyone? Look at the error. What type of error you will get? Error cannot inherit from final variable class main extend variables. Okay. Now the just a minute. I'm getting a phone. Just a minute. Just give it 2 minutes. So the Java polymorphism. Polymorphism means many forms, and it occurs when we have many classes that are related to each other by inheritance. Like we specified in the previous chapter, inheritance. Let us inherit attributes and methods from another class. Aste. Polymorphism uses those methods to perform different tasks. This allows us to perform a single action in a different way. For example, think of a superclass called animal that has a method called animal sound. Subclass of an animal class sound could be pigs, cats, that, and they also have their own implementation of animal sound. Basically, polymorphism means the forms. I'm done. I'm not going to the example. I'm just directly going to the example. We are not the theory part. We are just keeping class animal, public void animal sound. That class we have declared and having that method. That name of the method is the animal sound, and the system dot just because this is a void method, that means that method particular method does not have any particular return type. So we can return any type of data into that method. Now, class pig is extending the animal, that means the property, that method is now the owner of the pig class. Now the class dog is extends animal, class dog extends animal. That means animal class is inherited by the pig class and the dog class. Remember, from the inheritance that we use extend keyword for inherit from a class, we now create pig and dog objects called the animal sound method of the board. Now, what is that polymorphism actually? Basically, what is that polymorphism? Polymorphism means the many form. Polymorphism. Hey, basically, notice, basically polymorphism is what? The many form. Try to notice one thing. Animal class having a method name is animal sound. That pig class is having a main that animal sound method, and also the dog class also having that method that name is the animal sound. Now when I am that pig class is extending the property of the animal class now into the pig class, became owner of that animal sound method, and there is in under the pig class also there is another animal sound method is there. Now let me know, if I am calling that animal sound method, that time which one will be executed? Because when that pig class is extending the animal class property, that means that method, now that method comes into the pig class, right? Using the pig class object name, how can I differentiate? Because that two different that method name can be the same, that animal sound, but the message, the animal makes a sound, that pig says we, that two message is different. How Java will understand that which one you are calling, which method you are calling, basically which one, that one or that one, how it will differentiate? And not only that, that same thing it's happening, class dog is extending the animal class, that means that animal class property also is available into the class dog also, and that dog class also having a method with the same name. That means in the dog class also, like the pig class, there is a with a two method with the same name. In the dog class also two method with the same name, but only the difference between the messages only. That system out of println, in the dog class there is different message, in the pig class there is different message, that in the animal class there is the different message. Now how it will understand which method you are calling using the polymorphism. Now this is the actual that previous one, the same thing. Now how it will differentiate? Basically what we are doing in that method, animal method, pig method, animal class, pig class, and the dog class, those three class does not have that main method. That means we are declaring the main method, we need to declare the main method, and another class we are declaring, that class is the main name is main, and into that particular main class we are declaring the main method. That means when we are declaring the main method under this main class, that means that class is not only the name is main, that class is the actual main class. From that class we can access those three class, that means that animal, pig, and the dog. So how can I access? Because that methods are the same name. In the pig, there are two methods in the same name with the same name. In the dog also, there are two methods with the same name. How can I differentiate them? First of all, we need to create the object of all the classes. First of all, if we want, we are extending the property, but still, how can I access those classes under the main class? Using the object. So we need to create the object for all the classes. Animal, my animal is equals to new animal constructor. We animal now, the difference, what is the actual difference in between that when you are working with the polymorphism, that time how you can different, how that is a little bit difference in the time of the object creation. That animal class is the super class. Pig class is extending the animal class. That means that pig class is subclass of that animal superclass. Another time, class dog is also extending the animal class. That means animal class is the actual super class, and that pig class and the dog class, both that two classes are extending the property of that animal class. That means that animal class is the super class. Pig class and the dog class, those two class are subclass. Animal class is the superclass. Pig and dog is extending the property of animal class. That means that pig and dog are the is the subclass of that animal superclass. So just because animal is the superclass, so what is the time in the time of the object creation for the pig and the dog when we are creating? In the time when we are creating the object of the animal class, it is the same. But when we are creating the object for the pig and the dog, that time a little bit difference is there. What is the difference? Look at this. We are in the first line, we are creating animal, my animal equals to new animal constructor. Basically creating the animal class object. Animal class name, object name we have given as my animal equals to new keyword in the animal constructor. Now we are creating the object for the pig class. How can I create that? Animal class name, that super class name you need to write. Instead of writing the pig class name, you need to write the super class name. And the super class name is animal. Pig, my pig is the object name equals to new pig constructor. This is the constructor. You are creating the object for the pig class. That's why that pig class constructor I have written. But in the place of the class name, I have written the name of the superclass. And that same thing in the time of the object creation for the dog class, we are doing the same thing like animal superclass name. My dog is the object name that can be anything equals to new keyword. We just because we are creating the object for the dog class, so dog class constructor. Now I'm having that different object for the different class. My animal dot my sound, when you are calling, that will ex execute that message, that method, that because the method is the name is the same. That's why my animal dot animal sound, it will return you that my animal which is in the animal class. My pig dot animal sound, when you are calling, that means it will return you that method animal sound is available in the pig class. My dog dot animal sound, that means that method you are calling is in the dog class. That will, this is the way you can differentiate the methods using the particular class object name. That which one you are calling? You are calling the method which is in the animal sound, which you are calling that is available in the dog class, or which is in the pig class. The using the different class object name, you can differentiate that. Is it clear, that polymorphism part? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please execute that example. First of all, create those three class and extend the property, and then let me know. I will just tell me after complete. I will scroll down into the main class. I'm the daily near. See. Is it done, everyone? Should I scroll down? Hello?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
Gaurav.
sir.
Done, everyone?
Done, sir.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, the next topic is the Java inner class. What is that inner class? And that inner class is the last topic for today. The Java inner class. In Java, it is also possible to nest classes. The purpose of nest classes is to group classes that belong together, which makes your code more readable and maintainable. Inner class is basically, what is that inner class? Inner class is class under the class. You will declare a class. Under that class, there will be another class. That is basically the inner class. Coming to the example, we have declared a class outer class. The name of the class is outer class. And then I am starting the body of that class using the curly braces. And first of all, we are declaring an attribute, that is integer x equals to 10. Integer is the data type, x is the variable name, and 10 is the value. Under that outer class, we are declaring another class. That is class name is the inner class. And same thing, we are starting the class body because every class have its own body. So we are declaring the body with the curly braces, and into the class block, we are declaring a variable or a attribute. Basically, the class, outer class is the name. It is actually not the name I have given the outer class, but actually it is a outer class, and the class under the class, that is the inner class. That means this is the outer class, this is the inner class, not only the name, that actual terms, that is the outer class and that is the inner class. So that is basically inner class. Now, how you can access that inner class, how you can access that outer class? Public class main, a class we have declared, that name is the main. So we all know that when we are working with the multiple classes, there is only in only one class there should be the main method. So basically, class main, under that class we are declaring the main method. Under the main method, what we are doing, we are creating, we want to access those variables. And just because not only the different, not only that the different class we want to access, and the second thing, those are the class attribute. That means this is the instance variable. That means without creating the object, we cannot access those variables because those are the instance variables. So we are creating the object for the outer class. Outer class my outer equals to new outer class constructor. Now a little bit different when we will create the inner class object. How we will create? Outer class name, then inner class name. You need to give the object name equals to my outer is what? The outer class object name dot new inner class. So basically what is the syntax? When you are creating the object for your inner class, first of all the outer class name you need to mention, then dot, then you are creating the object for the inner class, so inner class name you need to mention. After that you need to give a object name to your that inner class your object you are creating. You need to give a name to your object equals to outer class object name you need to write, then the new keyword and the inner class constructor. That means when you want to create the inner class object, that time without creating the outer class object you cannot create the inner class object. And the time when you want to create the inner class object, first of all what is the syntax? Outer class name you need to write dot inner class name you need to write, then the object name you need to give equals to the object name of outer class you need to write dot new keyword, then the constructor name for the inner class. System.out.println my inner dot y. That means using the my inner inner class object, we are using the inner class object name, we are calling the y variable, and plus my outer class object name we are calling the x variable, and we are doing the using that arithmetic operation we are doing that. Whatever that value is, that means whenever I will execute that example, it will give you an output as 10 plus 15 as 10 plus 5 equals to 15. Is it clear that inner class and outer class? Hello. Hello. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Execute that example.
Hello, hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, if we create same as outer class object, then what will happen actually?
Without outer class object. I
No,
cannot
no.
understand what is your queries. Please tell me properly so I can understand.
Sir, if we had outer class, create in outer here, you will create in our outer. Then, if I create a inner class as same as my outer class, then what will happen actually?
Sorry, I'm not getting your point. Actually, you can if you are having any issue, you can speak in Hindi or Bengali also. It's okay, no problem.
So I'll try it. Then I
You can speak. You can say speaking in Hindi or Bengali also. I can understand that language also. You can.
no, no, sir. I will try it. Then I'll ask you.
No, no. Whatever the queries, you ask me now first. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Whatever your queries,
Sir,
ask me.
I, no, sir, I will try it. Then I will ask. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. No problem.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir, there I am getting an error.
what error you are getting?
Sir, whenever I declare the main class,
Yeah,
so it errors like class main is public and should be declared in a file name main.java.
that public, for that public class, if you try to do it with the remove that public keyword from the class main.
Okay, okay. Oh, no, yes, sir. Now it's coming.
Yeah, sometimes it's happen actually. Everyone done? Should I go to the next topic?
Okay.
Done, sir.
Okay. Private inner class. Unlike the regular class, an inner class can be private or protected, right? If you don't want to or don't want outside objects to access the inner class, declare the class as private. Suppose, look at this, that inner class you have declared, you haven't specified any kind of like the access modifier, but you can give an private or protected also. How? The same thing, just difference between that, the private class, outer class, under the class block, there is an attribute and a class attribute, and a private class, inner class we are making as private. After that, public class main, public void, public static void main, that main method we have declared. Now, outer class, my outer equals to new outer class. Outer class dot inner class, my inner, my outer equals to new inner class. And the system router, the same thing. If you try to access that private inner class, it's an error. It will give an error. It will give an error. Private, when you are declaring, just a minute. If you try to access a private inner class from the outside class, an error will be occurs. That means that error will be occurs. That means you are doing, because that private you are using, that means what? Outside the class, if you are declaring any class or the attribute, if you are using, that means outside the class you cannot access that. And when just you have declared that class as a private, so that's why you are using, and you are calling, you are using that inner class in under the main class. That's why you are getting the error, because that class you have made it as a private. And the static inner class a little bit different and easy. Class, outer class, we have declared, under that we have declared a class attribute. The data type of the attribute is an integer, x is the name and 10 is the value. Another, the inner class we are declaring as a static. That static class, inner class, integer y equals to 5. Can anyone just tell me what is the difference between the public and the static? Hello.
If we class declared as
No, in
public,
the time,
that
not
means
the class. Try remember that static method in the time of the method we have done this. So with the method, if I am declaring any method, a method as a static and another method as a public, so what will be the difference?
if we declare any method as a public, we need not to create an instance. If no, it's reverse actually. If we declare any method as a static, then we need not to create an instance. If
Yeah,
we declare as a public, we create.
yeah, that time you need to create the instance, that means the object. Using the object you can access that particular public uh, method. So the like the same, when I am making a making the inner class a static, in that time, in the previous one, what was the necessary thing? Whenever you want to create the object for your inner class, without creating the object of the outer class, you can't create the object for the inner class, right? Because in the time when you are creating the object for the inner class, that time the outer class object name is needed. But when you are declaring your inner class as static, in that time you do not need to create the object for the outer class. That means, look at this, public class main, public static void main, the main method we have declared. Under that we are directly creating the inner class object, so I can access those integer y equals to 5, that y variable I can access. So I am directly creating the inner class object. Outer class name we are writing, inner class name we are writing, then we are creating the object. So we should give any name to your object equals to new keyword, outer class name, and the inner class constructor. Here there is not need of the outer class object. If you are declaring, so basically what is the difference? If you are declaring any that your inner class as a static, that time without creating the object of the outer class, you can create the inner class object. But the outer class name is there. You need to write the outer class name, but the outer class object name is not there. That means that outer class object is not needed. Now, using the inner class object name, you are directly calling the y variable. But remember one thing, we all know, whenever we want to use that integer x equals to 10, that is a class attribute, or this is an instance variable. If you want to use that x, that time without creating the object for the outer class, we cannot access that x variable, because that x is in the class block. And if you want to use any class block variable, you need to create the object, because to specify that particular variable that you are calling, that is under the class block. Is that clear? Hello. Okay, so that was the last topic, and now let me know anyone having any issue in the today's session, regarding the today's session.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, don't leave the session, leave the meeting room. Let me share the attendance link, then you can leave the meeting.